Hey everybody, this is Dr. Lamarr Renee Spencer, your favorite life alignment strategist, as well as certified life, relationship, and business coach. And you know me, I always say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening because you might be in a different time zone than me. But thank you so very much for joining me again. I really appreciate it because, like I said, I'm the new kid on the block, but hey, you know what? I'm enjoying every second of this, but let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about if you're in a relationship or situationship, or do you even know what they mean? But hey, let's get into it, like I said. So, nowadays, non-committal relationships are common. It seems like the term has just been coined and people no longer say booty call, friends with benefits, or any of that. Now they saying, honey, you are a situationship. So what exactly does that mean? What is the new buzz? Come on now, let's keep it real. But I have to tell you a little secret. I was in a situationship and it ain't halfway bad. There's some pros and cons to it, but we'll get into that a little later. Now, a situationship is a romantic arrangement that exists before or without even defining a relationship. So have any of you been in this type of situation and someone asks you, hey, is that your man or your girl? You say, we're going to just see where it goes. We ain't none of that. We just cool. We just friends. We just seeing each other. We just talking. Well, guess what? You might be in a situationship. But hey, stick around because I'm going to explain more to you. So consider all these labels ironically used to define these label-free relationships. Here's why I think situationships are so darn common. Online dating makes it easy. It really does. The only thing you have to do is swipe right or left. There's so many options out there, and sometimes it's hard to commit with just one person. It really is. So, it's kind of not so bad and kind of cool to be in an undefined type of situation. It could be fun, it could be satisfying, or even liberating at times. Plus, situationships gives you time to get to know somebody without feeling pressured to make a decision. So, have you ever been in one of these situationships, or you talking to somebody and they like, look, what are we? Can you tell me what we are? Can you define what we are? Well, guess what? If you're in a situationship, you don't even have to do that. Absolutely not. But let me tell you something. Here's the problem. More often than not, one of those partners catches feelings. Now, you may say from the beginning, like, look, we're just talking. And then when they start asking you questions, that means chances are that somebody is catching some feelings. Now, don't just blame it on the ladies because men catch feelings too, right? But once emotions start to build in a situationship, the other person sometimes feels rejected and they may not want to be with you anymore. So I'm going to tell you how to not be in this type of car and you feel like you're about to crash and burn. You may want to actually get on the side of the road. Now, again, there's some pros to this. So one of them is this. Individuals may be trying to explore dating and relationships genuinely by getting to maybe interact with somebody romantically. Or, guess what? You have the freedom to make decisions and explore passions separate from one another or their partner. And in situationships, you are free to prioritize your life without necessarily needing to check in or run things past your significant other the way you may do in a defined relationship. Because guess what? You are not making that person part of your life in building anything. It is just, my choice, your choice, and that's it. However, be careful because in situationships, because they could be romantically involved, be mindful at least of that person's health. You gotta be respectful now. Come on, you know what that means. But I have like to say situationships allows for intimacy without commitment. The urge to feel close and experience intimacy with others it's a human need. I mean, let's just keep it 100, right? And in some instances, it's much healthier for both parties to satisfy the other person's needs without committing. Or guess what? You don't even have to align to their feelings and their wants. Like, who cares, right? But situations can be convenient for certain chapters in people's lives. Individuals may not be capable of committing at that particular time. And this could be because, like, say for instance, because you want to move on sooner or later. And you might be trying to go out there and see somebody else. So it does have cons. So again, even in these types of situationships, you're not committed. And it's not saying you're trying to have your cake and pie and eat it too, because you're not. Everyone does not want to be committed at a particular juncture in their life. And also, come on, let's just be honest. Some people say, well, my biological clock is ticking and all that. But people don't just really say that these days, right? You really just don't. What if you're getting out of a divorce and you want to just start dating someone or, just casually seeing without committing? Then this is the perfect opportunity. Or you feel like, my finances is not right. So I just can't bring somebody into a relationship if I'm not all the way together financially. I just want to go out, have a good time or have sex or whatever it is. It's our business and we already know the deal because guess what? We already established this at the beginning. There was no time frames. Like I said, when you say, hey, we just talking, we're going to see where it goes. Guess what? This is a situationship and it ain't going nowhere. It's like a runaway train without a stop. But hey, with positives also come negatives. Let's just keep it real now. So with situationship, it's not committed. It is sure ain't stable. Although we generally like to have at least one other person in our lives, especially when times get hard. But I have to tell you, it's not that type of party. Really, even to support us mentally, romantically, financially. No, situationships, it is not like that. And it also, because they're already undefined, there's no expectations. So it can be hard to get through and try to ask for support or needing support because guess what? There's no support on either side because it's not anything defined. It's like just space. If you will. But if you're making decisions and you want to be emotionally vulnerable, this is not for you because it can be challenging, especially when it comes to emotions and aligning your values, your needs, and your wants. And being in an undefined situationship can prompt some individuals to doubt and second guess themselves, especially because it's so uncertain. And you don't want to be uncertain unless some people do in all areas of their life. But hey, in situationships, it is, right? And plus, hate to say it, but it's true. They can be frustrating. I mean, all the way around because they're not the normal situations. And so therefore, people are really unable to determine where they really are because there's no commitment. And sometimes people start having to deal with anxiety because they almost feel like they're on that cliff where they haven't fallen, but they feel like they're on the edge. So yeah, you always feel like you're on the edge with these type of situations if you want to be in a relationship. Because again, remember, this is not that type of party, right? And I have to say, they could be a whole bucket of conflict. So more often than not, there's so many inconsistencies, especially between you and them. And it might lead to, honestly, conflict, resentment, anxiety for both parties, but primarily the person who's not pleased with the situationship and they're upset because it hasn't progressed. Because guess what? You never defined it from the beginning. So, depending on the experiences and the beliefs of the people that are involved in it, they may remain in these situationships a lot longer than what they anticipated or desired. So, Now that you have some of the particulars, like the pros and the cons, I'm going to show you and give you some signs that you are in a situationship and you may not even know it. Now, like I told you before, I was in a situationship. I didn't want to date anyone. I didn't want to be committed. I didn't want to be justified. I didn't want anything. I just wanted good company. And believe it or not, it ain't for everybody. But guess what? It can be a lot of fun. You go out, you have a good time. Hey, you go to your house, I go to my house. You do your thing, I do my thing. I don't even have to check in. I may call you here and there. You might call me here and there. Nobody asks for anything. I don't care how much money you have. You ain't asking me how much money I have. I ain't asking you about your kids, your mama, your job, nothing. We don't care about any of that. All right. So that's why a situationship may not be bad for everybody. And hey, come on, let's just be real. You might be a point in your career where, guess what, or school or whatever, your life period, you might be newly divorced or whatever your situation is, and you just don't have time to be checking in with somebody. And I know people may say this is selfish, but again, every relationship ain't for everybody. So you have to choose what works best for you, right? So let me tell you, if you think you're in a relationship, but you're really not in a relationship, you're just in a situationship. And let me just point one thing out. People may ask, well, why don't you know it? Why is it taking so long? Because, time flies sometimes, especially when you're having fun. Before you know it, you are in this whole situationship for a week, a month, and next thing you know, you done passed a couple Christmases, you done passed a couple Valentine's Day, you done passed a couple years, and you're 2-3 years in. And I know people may say, oh, that wouldn't be me. But never say never. Don't say never, because guess what? Until you are in one of these situationships, it's hard to say what you would not do. Okay, so really, like I said, some of the signs that I'm going to point out to you and tell whether or not you're in this, and it might sound familiar. And I'm going to tell you. So, foremost is there's no evolving or growth. If you're feeling stuck, or you aren't hitting milestones in your relationship, first time meeting the other person's friends, going to little anniversary parties, doing little activities together, maybe meeting their family, friends, y'all going to cook out Christmas or whatever, guess what? You ain't in a relationship. You are in a situationship. You might not even know that person's full name. You might not know his name is Michael, but guess what? Because you just calling him Black, Hassan, or whatever it is. You might not even know that man's full name or that woman's full name. You ain't meeting nobody, no family, no friends. You ain't doing none of that. Because guess what? It ain't that type of party. So, on the cardinal signals of a situationship is that the relationship is compartmentalized, and the other person is not integrated in social relationships. Like I said, you're not in it with family, friends. There is no defining. You are in, sometimes these longer situationships are they're not promising at all. And guess what? There's a lack of desire from one of the parties to move into a relationship and move it into something more committed. Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm a strong proponent, because I always tell my client this: how you start, you may end that same way. So don't ever tell somebody we're gonna see where it goes, especially if you know that it might be once upon a time that you want a relationship. Because if you don't tell them, or you don't put it out there, then guess what? Like I said before, you're on that runaway train. Okay? So be happy if that's what you want. But if you want a relationship, this ain't that type of thing. And so, like for instance, you might be with that person, but guess what? Hate to tell you, you might be discovering that person may be romantically or sexually involved with one other person or multiple people. So all of y'all in this situationship, even if you don't even know it. Actually, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You have not set clear boundaries, and you haven't even informed the other person of the boundaries. So guess what? Like I said, you're in this situationship, and so is other people. You just don't know who they are. They're like your cousins on your mama's side, half removed. you don't know who they are because it's not your business, right? And you're not making long-term plans with this. So when I say long-term plans, I hope you're up for being spontaneous, because you're not planning, hey, we're going to go to the movies next week, next month, we're going to go on vacation and all that. We're going to go, your kids going to be graduating next year. It ain't none of that. You are strictly dealing with the short term. So, people in relationships, they make plans. And like I said, it can go out for months, years, or whatever in advance. Trust me. But people in situationships, again, you're like an hourly or daily employee. You are on a timeline, all right? And that's just what it is. You're not getting invited. Like I said, now I keep reiterating, you ain't getting invited to the family cookout. You're not getting even a glimpse of what the people look like. You ain't meeting their boss. You ain't meeting their co-workers. You ain't meeting their neighbors. You ain't meeting none of that. And if you meet the neighbors, it's on like a hey, you waving your hand and you keep it moving. All right? So, guess what? In a sense, dating you or you dating them is not your first priority. It's almost like, okay, I'm bored. Let me pick up the phone and call so-and-so. That's what it is. So guess what? With stuff like that, it's never consistent. Oh no, because you ain't planning. So, hate to tell you this, but a legitimate relationship, most of the times things are planned. But in this type of situation, it ain't planned. It totally lacks planning. So, if Valentine's Day falls on a Tuesday, you might be getting your gift on Monday or Thursday or the next week. Like they say, you like the side piece. They just ain't calling it side piece anymore. So don't be expecting, gifts on that day, because guess what? It ain't happening. They don't pertain to you. Okay? And guess what? It's always an excuse. Now, let me point something out. Just because an excuse don't mean that somebody's a liar. It doesn't mean that at all. But, hey, it is what it is. Sometimes they may say, you know what, I'm busy. I'll hit you later. I'm at the gym. I'm traveling. All kind of things. I got to take my mom and my grandmother, my aunt to the doctors. I got to go play the lottery. I got to go wash my car. Anything. But it's always going to be an excuse, okay? Hate to tell you what it is. Now, with relationship, is always a plan A and B and sometimes C, right? But it ain't none of that, okay? It's, I'll call you when I'm on my way. Be outside, be up by 3, 4 in the morning or whatever it is, because that's all it is going to be. Now, with that comes, guess what? You're going to be knowing exactly what small talk means, okay? Because guess what? Sure enough, as you're in these relationships, everything gonna be very general, okay? They don't care about your dog, your cat, and let's just be real, your people, they don't care about that. So guess what? Really, you need to possibly, I hate to say it, but be comfortable with, like I said, small talk, or even like they call it sexting or whatever the two of you are into. Okay, they don't care about your past relationship. They sure as heck don't care about your future relationship. And you know what? Honestly, sometimes with these, it's always a trust issue. There always is, because again, someone always breaks the rule. Someone always gets close and they want to turn the situationship into a relationship. But again, there is no future in this. It ain't something that you talk about. You don't care. You're always living in the present. So, to be honest with you, there is no, hey, let's talk about the long haul. Why are you talking about the long haul? It ain't something you're talking about. And if you haven't had a discussion about your future or what you're looking for in the beginning of this, then don't expect it toward the middle. Don't think that you're going to change the direction of this type of situationship, because you're not. Because again, how you start off, maybe how you end it, okay? So, don't think they're going to get serious, right? They're not getting serious. And the person may actually tell you exactly that. They're not getting serious. So when in doubt, open your eyes. People show you through their actions what they think of you. So if they're not calling you and making plans, or you guys are talking about things, future, then guess what? Sorry, that's what it is. And I mean, even like I said before, sometimes these situationships, they will turn into, you being sick. It's the truth. And they're not, because they're not stress-free. You might even start having anxiety, which you may have never had before. But I'll tell you one thing, with these, hardly you get bored. There's always something, it's always when you are with that person, you're having a great time. You really are. But you will get bored with the situation. Now, that part is true because, our brains are wired for that, right? So after a while, you start falling in love or getting filled with this person. Hey, that dopamine starts kicking in. And so, of course, our neurological system says, hey, reward us. We want romance. We want relationships. But hey, not this type of thing. You're going to have to end that and keep it moving, right? So I'm going to end it with this, right? If you want to chill at home, if you want to watch Netflix, if you want to grow old with someone, this ain't it. It's just not the type of thing, right? And I know it sounds very vague and there's this very directionalist, but guess what? It is what it is. All right. I mean, it just is. And again, it may not be for everyone because some of you really want structure, or you think, oh yeah, I'm going to start off like this and he's going to fall in love with me, or she's going to fall in love with, with you, or you, whatever. It's not going to happen. Rest assured. So if you don't want this, then you need to state it from the beginning, or when you get tired of it because it's not defined, then guess what? You need to have that conversation like, look, bruh, sis, whatever, babe, whatever you coin them, this ain't working out, and I'm going to keep it pushing. Because again, everything ain't for everybody. So I hope this helps. I gave you the pros and cons of the relationship or a situationship. So determine what you want to be and what you want to do. But again, everything ain't for everybody. So thank you all for tuning in. And I'm going to tell you again, my book called The Depths and Diversity Within Relationships. Let's talk about it. It is on Amazon and also located on my website, drlamarr.com. And if you ever want to get in touch with me, I'm drlamarrspencer at gmail.com or 973-214-6464. Again, that's drlamarrspencer at gmail.com for my email. My website is drlamarrspencer.com, or my telephone number is 973-214-6464. I suggest if you are in one of these, if you're in a situationship and you're ready to stop it, then give me a call. At least the first 30 minutes is free. We can chit chat and figure out if I can help you or not. But thank you so very much, and you have a great day.